to the winners match of the ASL Premier League Season 4, Group G. And we have two fine players here in Rifkin. I'd like to introduce them.
G stands for great, for the great players we have. We asked him before we got into the game, you know, do you fear protest? He said very certainly no. In the bottom left corner of the map, from Evil Geniuses, it's going to be
Jaedong.
And his opponent in the top right. Just took out Masa. We're playing in the winner's match right now. It's
Believe. Alrighty, here. ZVP. Oh, we haven't seen too much of Jaedong lately, but we saw Believe playing pretty strong. I'm a little bit worried in the sense that he did lose against Masa in that kind of like the testing match to like the macro game, right? Like although Masa did open it up with the very cheeky opener with the Widow Mine, but we saw Believe take Masa out in a very, very aggressive fashion in the early game, and I'm wondering if he will be able to lay down the aggression on Jaedong. Hey, he can do it, man. There's a possibility.
I think
anything is possible.
So part of me asking Jaedong if he's afraid of Protoss was a little bit of a joke just while we're in the lobby, but a little bit of a serious question too, because truth be told, some of the scariest Protoss players right now, against Zerg specifically, are the ones who can pull off all-ins really well. And I know in StarCraft 2 there's a lot of really bleak terms, like, you know, what does cheese even mean, man? But whether you're planning to play a little bit cheesy, a little bit more ridiculous, or whether you're planning to play an all-in, I mean, Overgrowth is the map you go to abuse a Sentry push on. Overgrowth's the map that if you're going to use Immortals, here's where you do it, you know? How many times have you as a Zerg player, Tempo, just felt the pain of that third base basically acting like a giant force field and helping your Protoss opponent tear you apart?
Yeah, it is pretty brutal sometimes. Almost similar to how we saw it in TVP, where it's like the kitchen for the Vikings, right? It's just that that location can be so annoying to defend sometimes. More often than not, but I'm sure that Jaedong has quite a bit of practice against, go ahead, like Immortal Sentries on Overgrowth.
That's the thing, though, right? Like, Jaedong has experience. He's a veteran. He's been around since freaking ever, whether it's Brood War, whether it's StarCraft. He knows his stuff. He knows his way around the game. And I gotta tell you, like, for him personally as well, like, it's gonna be this huge... Like, for those who don't know, we talked about this last night. Every group for the ASL Prime League has had 3 good Koreans and a foreigner per group, pretty much. And this is like the first group where it's 3 foreigners and a Korean. If Jaedong were to lose this group, that would be devastating. Not to him or sponsors or results, but like personally, he would have to be just really upset because that's not an outcome that should ever really happen. So there's definitely a little bit of pride on the line for this one, I'm pretty sure. So I imagine Jaedong's playing extra safe.
But we see him. He did get that third hatchery incredibly fast. Believe going for a 4-gate off of this, though. He did chrono boost out that warp gate. It is done. The pylon is about to complete here. Jaedong's Roach Roin is not complete yet, but he is sending some of his queens over to his third. And he has a few lings out, but he has bypassed the speed. So he's going to rely straight on roaches, completely on roaches and the queens. And maybe not even. He might just give this up here as he waits for his roaches to come. Oh, man. So starting things out, Believe... bringing the pain. Such a brutal push. I love it when Sun does it quite a bit with a lot more zealots, but
yeah, the Queen's gonna get in here. They're gonna focus on the Mothership Core. Yeah, actually target fire instead of immediately. Nice moves there. Because the first thing he wants to do is remove these time warps, these pesky time warps that the zealots otherwise can actually the roaches easily. But as you'll notice, he's trading out a lot of lings right now. The lings were distracting the zealots on the right side, so the Queens get out alive. The roaches are bulking up, and this is starting to snowball pretty good for Jaedong. He doesn't have a recall. He doesn't have an easy way out. He's just got to walk away and hope to get away.
Yeah, that's always a terrible situation here because you invest so much time in the game by neglecting all of your tech in order to at least get that third. You want to be able to kind of cripple the third and also the economy of the Zerg player so that your follow-up can be just that much more unstoppable. But Jaedong bypassing the speed may have saved him, you know. If he had speedlings, they would never have done anything there without a spine crawler. So getting those really early roaches was a really smart move. I believe actually playing with fire as these 2 queens are fighting this Mothership Core. Oh my god, he's gonna lose it! Oh,
wow,
Believe!
That's a pretty big pickoff. you know, you can rebuild it and you're like, okay, it's gas, whatever, 100 gas, no big deal. But I think one of the scariest things for this is the fact that now he doesn't have a photon overcharge good to go. Like, defending any sort of big all-in on Jaedong is going to be not out of the question, but incredibly tough.
Mm-hmm. It's very important, though, too, because he delayed his gas for so long by making that 4-gate work. So every little bit of gas, I think, is pretty important because he does want to, oh man, and a supply block here with those proxy pylons getting taken out. I feel like every ounce of gas is important. You can't really continue with this immortal production because of the supply block. But he's continuing to make probes, so that makes me think that maybe he won't go for the all-in unless he stops here. So I'm wondering if he decides to take that third and just says, you know what, I'm not going to try to do this push because I didn't get the third, and my best bet may be going into that late game and hope that Jaedong is cutting drones. But he is not. He's up to 60 drones. And 3 more gateways are on the way, Rifkin. So I think that Believe is going to attempt to make this work.
I think any Zerg player sitting on 60 drones is going to be feeling pretty comfortable, especially if you're someone like Jaedong.
Mm-hmm. He already has his lair complete. Roach speed is going to be on the way. He's going to actually use Roach Ling to deal with this. So with good force fields, I think that Believe could have a shot at dealing with it. But it's just going to be the sheer amount of Roaches that Jaedong will have, and he may not even go for the attack. He's just going to counterattack, I think.
I mean, such a big part of this is you look at this army, and it's not about trying to engage the Immortals per se. It's about getting rid of the sentries, whether it's sniping off sentries here on the reinforcement or whether it's baiting up force fields. Either way, picking off 2 sentries for free to start is a really good move. We do have, however, Believe turning around, and Jaedong finds himself actually trapped. It's one of those things where the Roaches are going to die, so can he take out as much as he can before they go down? And no, they're just getting shredded, Tempo. Oh my god. That was a massacre. Really someone call 911!
Oh. I don't even know if they accept Roaches into the emergency room, but gotta find a special hospital for them, as Jaedong did lose all of those Roaches for nothing.
So much for Obamacare.
Right? So, this is actually really good for Believe. That's the best case scenario for him. He didn't take any real damage from the counterattack. He did lose maybe 2 sentries, I believe, but this push is going to be a little bit more difficult to hold for Jaedong, but he still can do it because of that creep spread being really nicely spread out there. But it's pure Roach Ling, and force fields are really good against that. But I love this style, the counterattack style versus Immortal Sentry. It's so cool. As they come around, the wraparound on the whole Protoss army. Believe not looking at his army that he's, no, this is no good at all.
Force fields out Lings, that's great. It's all Lings here, it's all Roaches, it's all Queens, it's all ranged units. A counterattack and a natural base simultaneously out of Believe. Jaedong just has too much to deal with. And ladies and gentlemen, Jaedong will take game number 1.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the ASL Prime League Season 4. We are here in the winner's match. One of these players will be advancing to the round of 16, and the other one will be going to that decider match. And,
well, let's figure out who it's going to be, Tempo. He's down 1 at the moment. He's also spawning down here on the map at the bottom right from, I can't remember his team, actually. My bad. It's going to be the Green Protoss player.
Believe.
Yeah, I'm going to Google this and amend it.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, he is from Team Extreme Supremacy, TES.
Oh.
His opponent, though, in the top right corner of the map, well, top right-ish, if you will, because, of course, there's water in the top right, but on the other side of the map is going to be the blue Zerg player, Evil Geniuses,
Jaedong.
Alright, so Jaedong's kind of a badass.
This is true. This is true.
Game number 1 is just so one-sided, and again, I think the problem with this is it's not that it's some intense Korean Zerg player versus, say, Believe, and I mean, that is part of it, but it was more to the point that Believe didn't really do anything that you didn't see coming from a mile away. And I think that was definitely the biggest detriment to his play style. But you might ask, like, Rifky, what else can you really do? And I'm like, well, I don't know. You take someone who loves playing Roaches and make him not play Roaches. Maybe open with Phoenix or something, you know? I really don't know what builds believe he's comfortable with, but I just want to remind you all one last time. We are in the winners match. We had to quickly skip to this one as there was a forfeit in the other series, so right now it is not quite life-endearing for either of these players. Like, if Believe gets 2-0'd, he's still got the finals to go through. If Jaedong has the series turned around on him, there's still the finals to go through.
Yeah. So, I liked how Believe, though. He opened up with the Nexus first, right? So if you're ever in a situation where you feel like you are the underdog, open up with that greed. Take some risks, and that's exactly what he did. Nexus first into the gateway. Really nicely done, at least to start things out, because he's not really going to get punished for it. Jaedong opened up with the pool, I believe, and also decided to not get gas. So just going for that economic opener himself, but not like a 3-hatch before pool. So as far as openers go, I think Believe is setting himself up to be pretty nice. It just depends on what he does, right? Like we were saying,
you kind of feel like
if you read into your opponent, you kind of know how he would. Mm-hmm.
No, I agree. So you're making good points. I was just gonna make a stupid joke. You kind of sound like Borat there for a second. Like, very nice.
Very nice.
You play very nice.
I should say both of those, I think, too. I like.
Okay, well, we do have
But hey, you're Rifkin, the Stargate coming out. Yeah.
Okay, so there's a pretty good chance this is just an Oracle, because I feel like a lot of people just try to default to an Oracle. But I would really like to see Phoenix play if he's comfortable with it. I think that'll probably be his best way to maybe get Jaedong to play different than normal. But I don't know. Again, you really have to go off the stops to take on Jaedong.
Yeah, it's really tough. I mean, even when you do go Phoenixes and you feel like you're doing great, and all of a sudden a bunch of roaches end up on your front door, and you've been so focused on microing them that you just pretty much lose everything at your front. But yeah, I think usually you will see that Oracle just come out because it's the easier way out. The Phoenix control does require a lot of micro and a lot of attention, and you have to be very. Oh, there you go, nice, that overload getting taken out. But you have to be very practicing. You have to practice it quite a bit, and if you don't, then you don't want to do something against a player of the caliber of Jaedong with that you haven't really practiced. So we'll see how he does make this work. Oracle coming out. I don't know if Jaedong has seen it just yet. He hasn't made any spore crawlers in any of his bases just yet. And he is sitting on 3 queens, so, this may not be too bad of a move here, I believe. I don't think Jaedong knows. I don't think he knows at all. Yeah, he has no idea. So, this could do it. This could do a little bit of damage. It won't do devastating damage, I don't believe, but it will do some good damage, and that's the best you can ask out of an Oracle in PvZ. You usually see it get shut down pretty easily.
I don't necessarily agree with that, though. I mean, getting damage is nice. You're never gonna hear me say like, "Oh, an Oracle didn't it's good kills, 5 so far." But he kept it alive, and I like that a lot. Revelation scouting is such a big part of the matchup nowadays. It didn't used to be, and observers were more dependable, but Revelation can go a long way.
Yeah. So, there you go. Not really getting the best of kills, but keeping it alive once again is more important, especially because Believe is going to be planning to take a third off of this. And he needs everything that he can to defend if Jaedong decides to get aggressive, which it looks like he is doing. 5 Overlords have just completed. Well, 3 more are on the way here, so he's going to be going into very heavy roaches most likely, as we don't see any other tech just yet out of Jaedong. Sitting once again on that 60 drones, and he has confirmed the third base of Believe. Oracle even coming back, get a bit of damage done. And I'm surprised that Jaedong still hasn't really put a Spore Crawler yet. He's just now getting it.
Yeah, this is definitely being annoying. Not devastating, but annoying. For sure.
Yes.
But, Tempo, what unit is Jaedong making a ton of right now?
A lot of brooches, and that is going to have vert speed finishing pretty shortly.
And the problem I see for this is we look back at home for Believe, and he's really setting up for this late game move. He's looking to play macro versus Jaedong. He's got a couple of sentries out, and that's cool, but a couple of sentries isn't going to deal with 62 army supply worth of roaches.
No, it will not at all. If he's setting up for the blink, that's nice and all, but it's the time in between that the Robo's not done yet. He didn't go for a Void Ray to follow it up. Oracles are pretty trash against roaches, and Jaedong is already in the natural. I assume 1 photon overcharge will be going down somewhere. Well, it's actually not too bad here from Believe. He's getting a bit, I would say, ambitious there. I don't think he knows how many roaches will be on the way here. It's going to be a lot, though.
This is such a hard situation to be in, though, because it's all about where do you place those force fields, right? And Photon Overcharge goes off in the main. He's just going to push up towards the national part of me. He'll just go push up towards the main. The Robo's only just finished, so Immortals are so far off. Look at the sentries getting caught from behind by the new Roaches coming across the map. He loses about 2 or 3 on that engagement, but I mean, for the most part, there's Lings just flooding in. There's no force fields at the front. This is getting really out of hand really quick.
Double really is. There are so many Roaches.
All of his energy on top of the sentries. Still, the last few barely going to live through this.
Oh my god, but all the damage being done, this is just going to be followed by even more Roaches coming. I don't even see any Void Rays or Immortals in production here for Believe. He's just trying to survive. And surviving probably is not going to cut it.
But for now, it's actually kind of cosmetic. If he didn't live through this, Jaedong didn't really cause a lot of severe damage. It was scary, and he traded out some good army versus army, but I mean, look at the actual resources lost. Look at the standing of the game. I don't think Believe is actually in that bad of a spot. He's really not that far behind.
With those 3 bases still there. Yeah, for now, right? And he kept a lot of his sentries alive. He only lost 3 so far, so I actually expected him to lose a lot more. But he's doing this pretty well, because this is pretty hard to hold. I like that he put 3 cannons at his third, so even if those Roaches decide to go, at least he can hold them in place with a few sentry force fields, and the cannons will be able to do their damage. So he's doing this as best as he could. I think this is really nicely done from Believe so far. Because Jaedong's just trying to do the whole I make Roach strategy, and Believe is doing okay, even though it's starting to look a little bit more grim.
The army supply is really starting to snowball at this point. Whereas Jaedong is able to continue to produce, so is Believe, but the difference is Believe is not, the sentries aren't really providing that retention. The force fields aren't that great, the Guardian Shield's now gone, and the last couple units are getting swamped out. A couple of new sentries arriving in the front lines, but it's a little too late for this, I feel. And again, look at Jaedong's actual army supply, 74 over 22. Yes, Believe has upgrades, but that will not carry him through this onslaught of an attack. More Lings on the way as well. He's moving towards a high-class den. I mean, Jaedong's not even tunnel visioned on this. He's transitioning out of it.
Yeah, I mean, the Immortals are just now starting to come out, but Jaedong dropping that Hydra Den and also droning, making 10. I wouldn't be surprised if we did see a 4th base come on very soon, because he's doing the good damage here, but Believe he's still making probes behind this. He hasn't lost any of his Nexi either, and he's just starting to lose a lot of army, and if he can stabilize, it would be nice. But now this is the part where it's going to look really bad, and yeah, that double G follow-up for Group G, and Jaedong takes it and gets first place in his group.
Plays 1 match and gets first place.
Hey, man, if you're going to do it one...